back, everyone, for the last session in the Practicality of the Spirit series. Today's session is on agreement function, and we invited a few of our colleagues to join in. So before we begin, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification icon to stay up to date with our latest videos. So we've asked everybody to come with their questions, and the first one is from Paul. So Paul, you take it away.
All right. So my first question is, why is empathy and intuition function so important for agreement?
So who wants to take that on? We don't all speak at once.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is that, well, it's the other side, it's the left side of the playing field, or the feminine side of the playing field, and that it completes the playing field, and that it's the two larger abstractions as you move around the playing field that would complete an agreement. And that's the first thing that comes to my head. So,
Well, okay. See, here's the thing: is that all of the functions are necessary.
mm-hmm. Okay.
It isn't it isn't just two that's necessary. They all are. But you've got to think about it from what each one of the functions are doing. So, for instance, if you think about that that there are two B1s and there's two harmony and there's two do functions that are represented on the playing field, right?
Right.
And it's the direction of those things that makes the difference. So, for instance, the basis of B1 in harmony doesn't move. They provide the foundation or the structure for what it is that people are doing. But the do is a communication of information or an exchange of information, and that has to be directed between the functions on the other side of the playing field for each side. So, for instance, the person who is asking for an agreement, the person who is in specific function and in harmony, in natural mind function, is going to place the do between empathy and intuition for the other person, and vice versa. The person this basis is on empathy and the B1 or the harmony and empathy, and the B1 in intuition is going to express that communication or that exchange of information precisely between the specific function and the natural mind function of the other person, in theory. Okay.
Right.
So why are they important? It's because they give the basis for what it is that the people are going to do. In other words, look, the empathy function is adjacent to the specific function. So empathetically, someone can observe what somebody's doing and say, well, wait a second here, that I don't think that works the way that you're saying it does. And then they can intuitively look at the natural mind function and say, have you considered this thing here? Okay, now that's taking place 24/7, 365 with everybody. And this is something that I've noticed that you guys have asked about and from various perspectives, but what makes you think that you're not in agreement, that you're not making things real all of the time anyway? Everybody disappeared on me. Hey, what happened to you guys? Does this mic work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. The mic's working. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
So just before we went live, I was joking about Layla, right? Just being like, yeah, agreement's easy. because she's doing it everywhere all the time.
That's right. So is Lenore, and so is Bree, and so is Lisa, and so am I, and so are you, right? So everybody is.
Right.
We're always making agreements, and we're always making things real. For some reason or the other, people think that agreements are all delight, all is good, go with the flow. You know, it's all good, and that's not true. You can make absolutely horrendous, scary agreements. In fact, we all do that all of the time, and we don't pay any attention to it whatsoever. We say, "Oh, that's just how life is. It's just so bad. I don't like it." And it's like, well, okay, I don't like it either, but you're the one that's making it. Why am I making it? Because you're seeing it as real, aren't you?
Oh.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm making it. How dare you say I'm doing it? Well, why are you defending it if you're not doing it?
Yeah. Right. I mean, if it's in your reality, right? If it's there.
That's
Right.
the thing, is that you have to look at what's actually real. Hence,
Right.
the thing that unifies all of the functions is the intuition function, right? Because it's knowing directly what it is real, and why when you pick the agreement, you're seeing what you want to make real, what you want to change that's already real, maybe. So you want to stop and say, oh, that thing is real. So Lenore the other night was talking about that she had a medical difficulty. It wasn't her fault. How dare anybody say that it is? Well, it's not her fault. It's that she lives in a place where that medical reality is something that every girl down at the beauty parlor comes in and says, oh, I had my kidneys out. Oh, I had my gallbladder out. Oh, they all got battle scars from being in the hospital and having something done to them. And it's all terrible, awful stuff, life-threatening and so forth. And so, if you're going to be a girl and live in that environment, you've got to go to the hospital and get your scars, so you can go down, so you can brag when you go down to the beauty parlor. Well, that's an agreement that you have that you may not even be aware that you're holding. People are sick all of the time. I have this malady, I have this thing, I have, and it's their claim to fame and a way for everybody to feel sorry for them. I feel bad for you. Feel sorry for you? No, I feel bad that you're suffering like that. I wish you didn't do that to yourself. But if that's the only agreement that you can pick, then that's the only agreement you can pick. Okay, that's how it is, I guess.
So earlier when we were talking about this, you said that it wasn't that I was agreeing specifically for that to happen. I was agreeing to the conditions that would allow it to happen. So is what you meant by that the conditions what's real? Is that what you meant by that?
No, I kind of meant exactly what I said, not something else. If I had meant something else, I would have said something else. Really, I'm like that. I have this tendency just to say exactly what I mean and mean exactly what I say, So let me say it again so that you can follow what I'm really saying for you, okay? Fair enough?
Okay, fair.
Okay, here comes. Look, you live in an area that if you live there, you have to agree with this damn idea just to live there. That's just how it is. When you go down to the beauty parlor, you go into work, you go to see mom and dad, you go to see the in-laws and outlaws and so forth. Everybody's saying, oh, I've got this problem, I got this problem, I got this problem, I got this problem. Oh, you'll see my back, it looks like hamburger, etc. Everybody is bitching about their operations, yeah? Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and so people want what they see. Every salesman in the world understands that. And so they're selling you that their sickness, and you're buying it because you're saying, oh yeah, well I want them to like me. I want to be part of the society. I don't want to be a pariah. I want to be part of things. So are you agreeing specifically? No, you're not going in and saying, oh yeah, I want to have those scars too. No, you're not doing that. But at the same time, you're not saying that, whoa, you guys want to do that, play that game, it's fine. For me, no, thank you. No. Thank you very much, but no. I mean, think about this. How many times has Layla been to the hospital already in her less than a year life?
A lot.
What's a lot?
3 times, 5 times, 7 times, 12 times? How many times?
Like 5.
That's a lot.
Wow. To be able to take a baby to the hospital 5 times in less than a year? What are you teaching the kid? I mean, I'm not growling at you about it, kid, but the thing is that that's an agreement, that's a reality for you. That's something that you agree to. Not necessarily get up in the morning and say, oh yes, I want to find somebody a reason for me to take my baby to the hospital so she can learn how to be a real woman. You're not doing that. Of course you're not. But you live in an environment where that's a norm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, I have like 9 aunts. Okay, when they get together, or when they were still alive, when they got together, that's all they did was to oh, I went and I had this, and I went and I had that, and I went and I had this other thing. I went and had this other. I went and I did, and I went and I did, and I got over it this time really quick. The doctor said. And it's like, oh my God, would you guys just shut the fuck up? I don't want to hear about it anymore. And no, I don't want to see your hysterectomy scars. Really, I don't want to see it. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, that is like legit describes what would happen in our family with my grandparents and my aunt. It was like one person that legit. I have that exact experience with them.
You live in the same area, girlfriend.
Yep. One person.
Look, these aren't bad people who are doing that. They don't know that that's what they're doing. Mm-mm. They don't understand. I mean, if you, it's like with you two guys, right? If I ask you, I say, okay, you want to pick an agreement? You'll say, oh yes, I want to pick an agreement. And it's like, the way that you say the word agreement, it's kind of like saying ice cream. No, it isn't. You already have picked agreements. The reality in which you live is a result of the agreements that you hold, okay? Just stop and think about that as if it might be possibly on the worst day in the world true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, really, just consider that could be true. And then ask yourself, am I really at one with myself? Am I really looking for harmony when I go and I bitch about, oh, I have this pain, I have this pain, I have this pain over here, oh, I have such a headache. You don't know the headaches I get. Is that looking for harmony? Is that looking for somebody to say, oh, you poor thing?
Oh, that's definitely for me.
Well, all right. I don't mind that you want to. That's what you're looking for. I'm not going to agree with you because I don't want to live like that. But if you do, it's okay. I mean, it's legal. For me though, I don't care for that stuff.
So by saying like, so I know like before we have talked about like all agreements are safe, and it's like, is that like when you're like,
no,
yeah.
Sweetie, look, everybody lives in their reality, right?
Sure, yes.
Okay, what do they agree to? What's real for them, yes?
Yes.
Okay, do you think everybody gets up in the morning and say, I want this agreement so I can die today?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that. No.
I don't think that happens, kiddo. And so therefore all agreements are going to be safe, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean they're going to be pleasant, it means they're going to be safe. I mean, oh, I have this pain. Well, go to the doctor and get it, have the doctor take care of your pain.
Okay.
You worked on it really hard to get it, so okay, I don't mind. It's a legitimate thing. Yes, it is. I'm not going to disagree. It's a real thing. You're making it real. You're people around you are helping you make it real, etc. I don't mind. You know, can you cure yourself from that? I suppose. And I don't really care whether you can or not. You know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, they say. For me personally, I prefer just to think about it differently and say, you know, I just don't want to live there. Now, you know, I'm not trying to say that this is a miracle cure or anything else. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't like living in that kind of environment. You know, if that's what melts your butter, it's okay. I don't mind. That's the reality you want to live in. You're welcome to it. I'm not trying to save anybody's soul or anything else. I'm just trying to tell you that realities are made by agreement, as far as I can see, through the exchange of information. What are you listening to? What are you looking at all the time? Do you want that, you think, because you see it? Well, I mean, I don't know, and I don't really care. If you do, that's great. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm saying, you know, try it on, see if it works. You know, it works for me. If it works for you, that's good. If it doesn't work for you, well, hell, then it doesn't. Don't pick any agreements in. Just go on, keep on doing what you're doing. You're enjoying that, just good.
So, you know, as I'm listening to John, as I'm listening to you explain all this, one of the things you said at the beginning of the session is that all of the functions have to be in play, right? And I'm seeing the places where folks on this call even are having issues following along with what you're talking about, because not all of those pieces are in play.
Well, they're all in play, but the thing is they're denying it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not at one with myself. I have problems.
Right.
I'm going to try to be in harmony. But you're a bitch, and I can't be in harmony with you, bitch.
Or I'm going to consciously choose to make this agreement, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the other one.
I'm going to agree
we'll get to that.
It's like, no.
Yeah, we'll get to there. We'll get there in a minute, I'm pretty sure. But I think we need to lay some more foundation first, but okay. But yeah, all of those things that are taking place all the time for folks, and it's like, oh, guys, you know, that's painful to watch.
I'm going to chime in here about what we're talking about, and this whole idea of, you know, all the illnesses and wanting to get the like people feel sorry for you and so forth and so on. And I was in this particular place before I came down here to Mexico. And I even remember in the car ride from Puerto Vallarta to San Cristobal, you know, running down the list and telling John, like, all the shit that I've been going through the past 3 years, and, you know, and like, Lenore, and that's what I was really talking to you about, is this idea of, you don't have to live in that reality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it took me a little bit of a time, but I chose to no longer live in that reality. And it doesn't mean that I don't have aches or pains or, you know, those kinds of things. But a lot of the issues that I had, you know, basically caused myself, aren't there anymore. because I don't live in that reality anymore.
It's difficult when you live in the midst of operation bill to not have the aches and pains and complain about them and so forth, because that's the reality in which you live.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something for you guys to consider. Okay. What else have we got there? What's the next question over there? Brianna asked something or what?
Yeah, Brie, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I started off with what is agreement, which is quite broad, and there's some underneath that.
Okay, let's start with the quite broad one, shall we?
Sure.
An agreement is anything that you're making real. Look around you. Is it real? Then you have agreements for that. It's not all with one person. It's not all with your significant other only, and so on and so forth. But you hold in agreements with somebody about those things because they're real.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So what's an agreement? It's what makes things real. We'll get to how that happens in a little bit. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, right, like I live a certain type of life. I live in a certain type of area. I'm with a certain person. Have a certain type of job. Able to afford certain things, and that's all part of then the reality and the agreement in which or agreements.
In which you live. That's right. And if you consider it, you'll see that all of that is a single agreement that you just add to, and you add the energy from this place and that place and that place over there, and you bring it all back and you shake it up. It's kind of like a James Bond martini.
Oh.
Shaken, not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred.
Okay. All right, because that's what I was going back and forth on, was like agreement. So it's agreement, just the reality in which.
Yes, that's a problem. That's a problem that people like to. They've got to visit that upon themselves, kid.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Everybody says, I'm going to pick that agreement. No, you're not. I'm going to the store. I will agree with you to go to the store. Okay, darling, I'm glad that you're going to agree with me to go to the store and so forth. But you see, the reason why you're going to go to the store is because of the agreement that you hold that you need to have things from the store. And the reason why you need things from the store is because you're going to make dinner, because you agree that dinner is something that belongs to you to be made, because you believe that you agree with that's your job in the house, and so on and so on and so on. It's all interrelated. It's all holistic. It isn't a single thing.
Okay. Well, okay.
So when you ask, are all agreements safe? Well, I don't know. Is it a lifestyle? Can you live there?
Right. Because I've lived in an agreement that definitely was not safe for me before.
No, darling, you lived in an agreement that was just the way you wanted it to be.
Right.
You thought that fellow was just the most sexy thing that ever walked the face of the earth. And you just thought that big old thing that guy carried around there between his legs was just the thing for you. And you liked his rebellious damned attitude, and you said, "Yeah, I'm a bad girl just like you, a bad boy, and we're both going to pretend like we're really good."
God, that's such a blast from the past.
And we're going to justify our stupidity by saying that we really know what's good for us.
Mm. Yeah,
and nobody can tell us nothing because we got this all wired out our own selves.
That's exactly what it looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was there.
Yes, you were.
Ditto.
Okay.
Okay, so what else is on your mind there? I can't read them; they're too far away. You have to read them for me.
Okay. Well, all right. So that takes me to the place of when we gather agreement,
Yeah.
So what, because that kind of like leads me into that. So like, what is like, I know like you have, like I go around, like I want to get an apartment, for example, and I go talk to multiple people about the type of apartment that I want.
Okay.
And I reiterate like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm thinking. And it's like through that with other people, it's like, it always happens, talking to
Yes. Yes, but the neat thing is it never what you thought it was going to be, is it?
no, it's always slightly different. Like what I dream, what I'm dreaming, and then what actually occurs. It's
Yeah.
always slightly different. There's always a difference there.
Okay.
Okay.
So it looks like you also are asking something about does the spirit?
Yes.
I can't read it. It's too far away. So
How
help me
is
out.
how is the spirit / other and agreement related? Because I do know from Practicality of Spirit and watching the intuition, because you have
Sweetness. It isn't related.
okay. Or
But you got to listen now. Okay.
okay.
Okay. You're trying to divide the spirit as not part of your life. See, an agreement's made of the reality, the stuff in which an agreement's made is the excess energy that you don't use in your part of the agreement. The spirit uses that.
Okay. Okay. Wait. It's okay. So maybe you go at that one more time then.
Well, here, John, you talked to me about that, about certain things that like are easy for you to do or easy
Right.
for me to do.
Right.
So maybe that might help
Right.
her to.
Like, okay, it's like this conversation we're having tonight.
Okay.
It's easy for me to sit down here and talk about this because this is how I live my life. Okay, it's not something that I'm making up or anything like that. It's not some kind of bullshit that I read in a book or I'd like to sell to you. It's like, look, I live my life this way. I live in reality, and I live through agreements. That's how I live life. Now, your mom, Lisa over here, she doesn't do that. She lives her life on the computer. And so she's got all the computer stuff that she can do. She can set up 2 cameras and the whole I doing stuff I don't even know. And it's like I look at that and I say, you know what? I don't even want to know that. I just don't want to know about that. That's more than what I want to know about. Thank you. And so, when she listens to what I talk about, she says, I don't know how you do that, and I'm not sure I want to know either because, you must have spent a while learning that stuff. A whole lifetime actually. It took me to get there, and so you haven't spent that much time yet. So when you're my age, you'll be able to talk about all your lifetime too. But in the meantime, now you got to do what your specific function is and do that thing. And so, she's over here on the left side of the playing field. I'm over on the right side of the playing field. And I can say, okay, here, if you do that, I can do this over here. Okay.
Okay.
And so I have excess energy, and she has excess energy because she didn't have to think about putting that all together. Not like I do. So she's not using that energy that in the agreement. She says, "I have, I can do that with my eyes closed almost. I have to open up to see what I'm doing, but I can do it like pretty easily."
Okay.
And I said, "Well, I can actually do it with my eyes closed, but I like watching how people react because that's the fun of doing it."
Okay.
Okay, so that energy is not. I don't do anything with that energy. And consciousness doesn't even see the damned energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So who sees it? Well, the Spirit sees it, and the Spirit takes it and weaves it together and makes something real. That's the reason why we say that we have to call intent. Because we have to intend to use that energy to accomplish, to make something real. So how do we do that? We say it out loud. In other words, I don't sit here and say, well, you didn't read my mind. I don't know why you didn't do what I wanted.
Yeah.
You hurt my feelings. Well, you didn't talk to me. How do I know what your feelings are about? You can't explain it. When I ask you about it, you say, oh, never mind. Just be that way. I don't care. Okay, I'll pick that agreement. You don't care. I agree. You're fine. I don't give a shit. If you don't want to talk to me about it, am I hurt? My feelings hurt? No, I don't give a damn. Don't talk to me about it, please.
So
Yes.
is that why we need other people for agreement then? Because if we don't
How
have
the fuck can you pick an agreement with your... Hey, sweetie, how can you pick an agreement with yourself? You're going to use all of your... What, are you masturbating? What?
I mean, it sounds like to me that no matter what, you have to have other people be that.
It wouldn't be an agreement otherwise,
No,
would it?
there's-
By definition,
no,
an agreement between more than one people requires
Yeah.
more than a person. Really,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Okay, think about the playing field. That's what the
Yeah.
playing field is. It shows you.
Okay, what's the second function? Harmony?
Harmony.
Can you
Yeah.
sing harmony by yourself?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, you can only get that melody in there. That doesn't go very well. Well, far.
Well, you can sing the harmony line too, but somebody's got to be singing the melody for you to sing the harmony, right?
Yep.
In other words, you can't sing two-part harmony by yourself. Well, maybe if you're Mongolian, but that hurts.
Oh,
my
you mean with
voice.
that throat singing or whatever they do?
Yeah. They sometimes get a couple different notes at the same time.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so what else you got there that you want to know about, Bree? I'm afraid that was more than what you wanted to know, but go ahead. What else you got?
Yeah, keep going.
No. Yeah. I mean, I have, does the spirit only create real things, which I think we actually answered with the previous part of that.
I think we did, because look, how are you going to create a fantasy?
Mm-mm.
How can you create a non-real thing?
Then it's not a real thing if it's fantasy.
What is creating a non-real thing mean?
Yeah.
I don't even understand what it means.
Can you create a non-real thing for me right now, pretty quick like a bunny, please? Even a lie is a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It has real consequences.
okay.
There's real life
Even a
consequences to
destructive
that.
marriage is a real thing, right?
Yeah, because there's
Yep.
cause and effect.
It's not because of a cause and effect, it's because of the damned agreement.
It's what you agree to and with.
It's the reality in which you agree to live.
Okay.
Here's one. Everybody at the beauty parlor knows the girl down the street in the trailer park that's living with that guy who beats the shit out of her all the time. She's always coming in with a big old black and blue eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, what in the world are you doing with that guy? And she says, oh, but I love him. I'd be afraid to be all by myself. And he comes home drunk and he smacks her and she ends out halfway between her trailer and the next trailer over. She agrees to live in that reality, does she not?
She does.
Oh, okay. So is she part? Is she part and parcel of that agreement and that reality? Is she contributing to it as much as he is?
From experience, yep.
Yeah, she is. Okay. Now, is she doing something bad? No, she's not. Is it her fault? No, I don't think it's her fault. I'm not into fault here. I don't like fault at all. And I think fault is a crazy damn thing to even think about. What I think's going on there is I don't think she knows any better.
I know I didn't.
I don't think she knows that she can trust herself. I don't think she knows that she has value. And so she picks the non-valuable agreement. Okay, maybe she'll learn it this time through. I don't know. Maybe she has to live like that just so that she knows what it's about. I have no idea what that's about. Who knows what she did in her last lifetime that she needs that the karma's catching up and smacking her around. I see, and I don't even care whether you believe that or not. If you got a better explanation, okay, I'll listen.
Right.
That's the only one that makes sense to me. But okay, there's probably other ones that make just as much sense. I just happen to have chosen to agree to that one. You can agree to another one. It's okay with me. I'm not trying to convince you of nothing. Okay, what else you got over there, kid?
Okay. Well, what is an agreement and what is not an agreement? Kind of touched on that, I think.
I don't know how you can. I don't know what a not agreement is. See, here's the thing. It's like this question right here. Shall I agree with you about that question? Shall I agree with you that you're really too stupid to know what an agreement is?
Oh.
Oh, interesting. No, I prefer not. That'd be great.
Well, then why in the hell are you asking me such a silly ass thing? Because you want me to think that you're a silly little girl who can't think for herself? Okay, I agree.
No.
So Bree, what's going on here is you can tell where you are when you ask a question. Like the question
Right.
reveals how you're thinking about this, and it doesn't make sense for you to ask this question because you already have some understanding.
Not only that, Paul, but the tone of voice she used when she answers tells me even more than what the question did.
The meta programs
Right.
are free to be seen.
Yeah.
Right.
You were being a good little girl asking a question.
All right. Well,
No, stop and listen to your tone of voice, kid. Stop right there and listen to the tone of voice that you're asking. Shall I agree with that tone of voice?
shit.
Yeah, you're doing
I
that.
don't like these questions. I don't like these questions. I'm done with these questions. Someone else got to go. I'm done with all that shit. Let's move on.
Okay, shall I agree with that right there, kid? That you don't like these questions? You don't want to have them answered? Do you want to run around in your head instead? Shall I agree there? Shall I agree with you that you're a frustrated little girl that can't deal with reality? Okay, I agree.
Oof.
It's good.
Oh man, this is fun. Keep going. This is good.
Well, I mean, we're already in the battle, so but no, I had more. These are not all the questions that I asked.
I know
But you
they're
did
not all
ask
the
them.
questions. You may ask sweetie. You can ask any question you want. I'm good with them.
Yeah.
I'm not. These are the ones that I thought would make more sense. But you can ask whatever you want to.
Why did you think they would make more sense?
Because I think they'll make more sense. That's how I think about it. I don't know how you think about it. You can ask whatever you want to, though. You've got to get it straight in your mind. I don't need to get it straight in mine.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But you need to be brutally honest with yourself about what you're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a big piece of this, and it's something that I just have fucking struggled with. Is that brutal honesty? That is like a bitch, but you do that. You can look at these questions and you know what you need to ask. You know what you need to,
Here,
what you need to fill in for yourself.
Bree, here, let me give you one of your mom's struggles. Well, all right then.
I've heard that from you.
Only a few times.
I always ask these questions at breakfast so I have there all day to answer them.
You do that. That's true. We always have good conversations in the morning.
Yep.
Okay, kid, go ahead and ask what else you got on your mind here. Come on, let's go. Go for it. It's okay.
Well, I mean,
I love you just the same. You're the one that's having trouble with the answer, not me.
I mean, it's all well. I mean, it's. I mean, the next one, I feel like I'm just going to answer for myself here, because like, why is agreement not what you want? Because agreement isn't made by just you; it's with other people.
But it is what you want, Bree.
But is it though?
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yes, it is. But the thing is that yes, it has to be, because you're saying this is what I want, and the other person saying, well, okay, this is what I want, and we kind of agree about what we want here. But I want this color of it, and you want the other color. It's like this. Who wants to go for ice cream? Everybody. Okay, everybody wants to go to ice cream. I want chocolate.
well, I want vanilla.
Paul wants butter pecan. Is it all ice cream?
Yeah.
Where are we going to go? Let's go to Haagen-Dazs. Okay. They have chocolate. They have 2 or 3 different kinds of chocolate.
I think that's an example of everybody wanting what they're getting out of the agreement.
Okay.
Yep. I want to. Let's get a house. Okay, let's get a house. Where do you want to get the house? I don't know. Wherever is fine with me. But not there. Okay, not there. Then what? If not there, what don't you like about there? Well, I don't like the neighbors there. Okay, well then let's not deal with that then. Let's go somewhere else where we don't have those neighbors. It's all the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because see, if you're talking about a house, then you're going to live together no matter where it is. It's whether everybody gets whether. I want to have a workshop. I want to have a vanity, a place where I can do my makeup, and I want to have a computer room. Okay. We're talking about the same thing. We're still going to live together. We're still going to have the house. Okay, cool. You want that thing? I want this thing. Okay, what else can we? I want to be on the corner. Okay, well, that's cool. Let's get it on the corner. Why do you want to be on the corner? So I can see what's going on in 2 different streets. I'm a nosy bitch. Okay, now I understand. I didn't understand that before. See, I wanted to want something in the middle of the block. So it is about what you want. But it's also about making an adjustment so the other person can get what they want. Mm-hmm. See, everybody has to win. That's what makes it an agreement.
Mm.
It's also what makes it fun. Where'd you go, Bree?
I'm just thinking through. That's all.
Well, please share your thoughts, kid.
Well,
What the hell?
I mean, it was interesting because the moment I saw the questions on there, I was like, oh, I remember that this shows exactly where I'm at with things, doesn't it? And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Don't you want to know where you're at, Bree?
I do, actually. It's
Right?
because I have to. Because you can't see the color of your own eyes, huh?
So where
right.
would you say you're at when you ask a question, why is agreement not what you want? I'm curious if you can see where I see you with that question. How do I see you? What's the context that I see you thinking about the idea of agreement? How do I think you understand agreement when I see you ask that question? Can you answer that?
Say what? I mean, it's very top level, it looks like to me.
Well, it's more than that. I'm seeing more than that.
Okay. What,
You seem to think it's possible for an agreement to exist with you not wanting what's being created. And that's not how it works, which is just what we were talking about. But from that question, I can see. Oh, go ahead, John.
Yeah, you run into this all the time, okay? At least I do, okay? People come around, they say, you can count on me, I can do this thing, I can do that thing, I do the other thing. I say, okay. And see, I always check right up front. I always say, okay, good, go do that. Because I want to know right up front where everybody is, okay? And so I say, sure, go ahead, I agree, I believe you can do it. And then when they fail to do it, then I can say, but you told me that's what you wanted. And then I can find out really what they're talking about and where they are and what they're thinking about and so forth, see? Now, sometimes it takes months or even years for people to actually come to the place where they tip their hand and show you what they really want. Now, see, I don't mind stalking that for as long as it takes. I'm good with that thing. You know, go ahead, waste as much of your time as you want. I don't care.
Where's Terry when you need her?
okay.
Terry always justifies her that she can't that Moshe won't let her do whatever, or that he's growly about her about where she doesn't follow through with what she says she's going to do, because she always thinks she's going to. Now you can trust her to be right there. It doesn't mean to make her a bad person. It just means that she sees it that way, and it doesn't mean I have to see it that way. It doesn't mean anybody else sees it that way. It just means that Terry sees it that way. And she's honest with herself about that. How she sees it. It's like Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump sees that he lost, he knows that he didn't lose, that he lost the election, okay? But he sees that it's okay for him to say that he did lose, that it was stolen from him, even though it wasn't. He sees that as being okay. Now you guys know people like that. They're going to double down on an outright lie. It doesn't make them bad people necessarily, but it doesn't make them trustworthy people either. See, here's the thing. When people pick an agreement, and this is something that's going to come up here, another one of these questions, I'm pretty sure. But let me go ahead and get into it a little bit here, just to start it off in that direction. Somebody comes along and they say, "Okay, I want to pick this agreement," and then they realize what it's going to cost them. They say, "Well, you're just making it your way."
Right. I didn't want to do that.
Let me give you an example. Yeah, let me give you an example. Somebody comes in, they say, "Okay, I want to sell this thing." Okay, you want to sell the thing? Do you understand what the thing is? Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay, good. How many sales do you think you can make this week? Oh, I can make 2 or 3 easy. Okay. And then the second week, how many sales have you made the last 2 weeks? I haven't sold anything at all. I thought you thought it was the easiest, it was the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, it is. And I've got 2 or 3 people that are fixing to get ready to maybe do this one of these first days, maybe. Well, that's not a sale, is it? There's no money in my hand. There's nothing real there. Why not? Well, it's because that person who was thinking that they were going to make that sale didn't really understand what it was he was selling, number one. And number two, he really wasn't going to do the work that's necessary to make that sale because he doesn't know what it is he's selling. So he can't really say to anybody, look, this thing that I'm selling is really something that you either need or you don't. Now let's determine whether you need this or not. Do you need it? Then you know you got to buy it sooner or later. Do you want to buy it now or you want to buy it later? You want to buy it now? Okay, then it's going to cost you this much money. Yeah, I can help you out with how much you have to pay right now. Yeah, I can get you a credit plan and so forth. Yeah, I can help that out for you. Now, that's how a sale is made. And it requires work. It requires talking to a lot of people because not everybody needs the thing that you're selling, ever. Never. It's maybe 1 in 10 or 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 maybe. So you got to walk through all those people. You got to qualify each one and say, okay, do you want this or do you not? Can you afford it really? Or you just bullshit me that you can't afford it? I mean, do you need the damn thing? Well, then buy it. Jesus, what the fuck's the matter with you? See, that's an agreement because that's putting one foot after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. You're putting one foot in front of the other. You're walking down there and you're taking one step at a time. You're going and doing the thing one step at a time, which is how you do anything at all. You can't walk around the block though, taking one step at a time. So when people come around, they say, "Oh yes, I'm in agreement, but no, I don't want to take one step at a time. I want to jump all the way around the block right now." Lots of luck with that. Ain't gonna happen. See, that's the reason why you want to understand these other functions. You know, are you at one with yourself? Do you understand what your product is? Are you in harmony with the other person? Can you actually explain to him what it is without yelling and screaming at him and jumping up and down? Can you explain it in turn? Can you do something with him through the exchange of information? Do you have a specific thing that you know how to do? Can you use your natural mind functions to accomplish it? Can you be empathetic towards that other person? Can you be intuitive with that other person too? Can you pick the agreement? Can you stay in the agreement you picked? Can you give your word and keep it? See, all those are very practical ideas. An agreement's not some woo-woo off in Never Never Land like you guys all talk about it. Oh, it's an agreement. I don't know what that is. Explain it to me. You know what an agreement is. Did you wash the dishes tonight? You or somebody else?
Did everyone just hear all the different pieces that he laid out? Because each of us are tripping up on different spots in that process. And Lisa actually pointed out that I have some empathy issues. And I mean, I've tried to sell classes, right? And to John's point, did I berate people with it? Was I in harmony with them to communicate the value of what was going on or no? Where did I not, what was I not doing correctly? What was I not paying attention to? What was I not using as a function as I was trying to talk to people about these classes? You got to think about it. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah,
this isn't some mystical person. It's us.
Paulie caught me at it again. Damn you.
Well, I'm listening to it. I'm like, well, damn it. This is where we all mess it up right here.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
we're not doing all of the components. We're not running all of the pieces of the playing field, and therefore we're not successfully selling the class.
Let me give you another way to look at the same thing that Paul just told you, okay? All of you have done a rewrite, and all of you have had different places where you stopped and said, okay, well, what's charisma, or what's intuition, or I mean not intuition, what's impulses, or what's substance? Everybody has their own bugaboo that they run into, right? Well, that's where all of your programs lack. That's not just in that one program that you're trying to rewrite. That's in everything you do. That's why doing a rewrite is so from early childhood outward is so effective, is because you don't correct the thing that you're correcting, you correct all of it. Because the self-meta programmer works directly only on the meta programs, not on the applications, not on the programs themselves, but on the meta programs. What it works on is on word processing and graphics and those kind of things. Not on solitaire. Not on WhatsApp. Not on Messenger. It works on Excel. It works on Pages or Word or on Adobe. And it works on it from the download that your computer just did last night. That's where that's worked on. So what we're doing here is we're giving you a download, right?
An upgrade.
That's right. You got to think about this for a second. What's the tool for the agreement function?
Seeing.
Seeing, that's right. And so what is it you want to see? You want to see where that agreement's going to go to and what it's going to accomplish, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to see what that agreement requires you to do. A few years ago, there was a girl in a class and she came to a class and she said, at that time I did rewrites just on by email, because there wasn't any Slack and there wasn't any Messenger, there wasn't anything else at that time. It was just email. And so I always used emails to do rewrites, and that required that I answer whenever somebody sent me an email. I'd have to answer them pretty quick like a bunny, because I knew that they only had that time to send me that email right then. I wanted them to be able to get an answer so they could continue to think about whatever they were thinking about. And so this girl said, yeah, I really like this rewrite idea, but I'm not going to sit at a computer all damn day. And I thought, well, I don't either. At the time I was remodeling houses and building gardens and so forth, and so I didn't sit at a computer all day. That's the reason I had an iPhone, so I could stop and answer on the iPhone. That's the reason why I took my iPad along and put a chip in it, so I could sit and type it out on my iPhone, on my iPad. I had to figure out how to do that agreement, how to give and keep my word on that. Now, I couldn't say, well, I'm not going to do it. What a shithead I would be, right? But yet, that's what I hear from you guys is that a lot of you will say, well, I'm not going to do that. Good, then don't do any of it. Well, why do you act like that, John? Well, you're not going to do that, then you might as well not do any of it, because you're only going to do it half-assed. There's no reason to do it at all if you're going to do it half-assed.
Yeah.
Either do it and do it right, or don't do it at all. I'm good. Either way. You tell me what you want to do. You want to do it, then it's going to cost you all of the things it's going to cost you. I'm not big enough. Well, then you're not. Don't do it then. Jesus, stay at the home. Don't be coming down here.
Well, so
talking to me about it.
what's really interesting about what John's talking about here right now is pursuing agreements is a really awesome way to just grow yourself in all sorts of fantastic ways, because you're going to have to do things you didn't think you're going to have to do. You're going to have to learn skills you didn't think you're going to have to learn. And you're going to have to stand in a place that maybe you don't even understand right now. But if you say you're going to do it,
Well,
and you're a
speak
person
up
of
and
your word.
Tell him then.
Huh?
If you're a person of your word, he says.
then you're going to
go
stand
ahead.
there. You're going to take the licks. You're going to get the bruises. And you're going to go through it anyway.
Exactly. You know, when I was like, yep, you know, I'm gonna come down here and, you know, pack my stuff up, left in 24 hours. We drove like 30 hours in the car here.
Yeah, right.
You know, and it even conversation started the minute I got in the car, right? And it's literally been that one foot in front of the other, you know. And it's not that I haven't, you know, did this, you know, feeling sorry for myself or argued like hell, but it's like I still kept going forward, even when I ran into, like, let's just call them brick walls. You know, my own thinking. I'm like, what the hell? And really not thinking about what it was going to entail, but I knew I needed to be here. You know, I mean, even the past week and a half, you know, really going over agreement function, and it again is like, you know, running into, you know, those limits that I, you know, have had in my mind, and it's like, God damn it, you know, and argued and carried on a little bit, but it's like you get through there, and you just keep on going. But yeah, it's like, did I think about this when I was packing my suitcase? No. Of course not. You know?
You haven't packed up and gone home though, have you?
No. Oh no.
Okay, well,
It's been asked.
you're going to have to go home if you don't sort this crap out.
Yeah. And it's like, oh hell no.
That's
You're
different.
You're gonna stay. You're gonna stay here, or are you gonna go home?
Right.
Yes, that's how it's, yes. And it's like, oh.
Okay. So Jenny's not here, so you're gonna read Jenny's questions then, are you?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so she asked, how do you know you have an agreement?
Who can answer that one? We've covered it tonight.
Well, not so that some of these people understand it, I'm afraid, Paul. So
I think you're right.
Let me give them a little help here with this one.
Okay.
Does anybody live in tomorrow? How about yesterday? You live in yesterday or tomorrow, either one? Have you ever lived in tomorrow? Have you ever lived in yesterday? Well, have you or not?
No.
No.
Right.
Nope.
You only live in now, huh?
Yeah.
When would you see it? When would you see that an agreement's real? Tomorrow.
Well, it happened to be now.
Oh. So I'd have to see whatever I want to see. I have to see it now if I want to think about the agreement, right? So if I'm talking to somebody and I say, there's this thing I need you to think about here, and they say, yeah, okay, I'm good. I gotta run. Do I have an agreement? No,
No,
there's
there's
nothing
no.
real now. There's nothing real now. See, if I have an agreement, they're gonna say, okay, wait, stop. You mean if I do this and I do that, and then that's gonna happen? Well, you can try it to see, but I suspect it will. Well, let me try that then. Now now we're getting to an agreement. But then when they come tomorrow and I say, well, did you try that? No, I did. I just didn't have time. Oh, okay. Right here, right now, I know exactly where things are. There's no agreement. There's no nothing. It's a void.
So, by the way, John is using harmony with the folks here to figure out how you need to hear this. He said, let me say this differently.
Yep. See, I'm at one with myself about agreements and the functions and so forth. I don't have any questions about that. Okay, and so I can afford to sing harmony with you, because I have to communicate information that's something that you can understand, and how are you going to understand it? Only through harmony. So when is it that I know that there's an agreement? Or how do I know that I have an agreement? Because it's visible now. If it's not visible now, it ain't. There's nothing to it. It's bullshit. It's empty. It's just words. See, I don't mind if somebody talks mad. I just don't. What I mind about is if they talk mad and then they let that talking mad control what they do. That I mind, because that's telling me that there never was an agreement, not ever. I've been wasting my time with that idiot from the beginning. People have to talk mad sometimes, right? Because they get really frustrated because to pick an agreement, they have to many times to pick an agreement. You have to rethink something that you've thought was real all of your life. And somebody comes along and says, well, I just can't agree with that thing being real. That can't be in my reality. I can't do that. And so you have to stop and say, oh, okay, I can't do that in this reality, can I? Let me give you a really simple example. When I lived in LA, I thought I spoke really good Spanish. Because anytime in LA, any time at all that you didn't know the Spanish word, you could say the English word, because everybody there speaks English. They speak Spanish or English. And so everybody would say, oh, okay, here's the English, I understand. I came to Mexico, and you know what? They didn't put up with that shit here. They said, no, you got to speak Spanish. I don't understand anything you're saying unless you speak Spanish. And I said, oh, I see. And
so you stopped doing that.
Not that Tex-Mex, not that Tex-Mex shit either. Not that East LA crap either. You got to speak Spanish, Mexican Spanish, because we in Mexico, we speak Mexican Spanish here. Now, if I go another couple hundred miles further south and I get into Guatemala, they speak a different Spanish down there. Here's one for you. I was talking to a girl that's from Chiapas here the other night, and she said, oh, it's almost time for the rains to come. I said, oh, really? Why? She said, oh, because you can get ants then. And I said, really? And she said, yes. And she has a name for them. I can't remember what they are, but they're ants nonetheless. And they cost 3,500 pesos for a burlap sack full. It's like $70. and they make tacos of them. And she says, you know, if you fry them up and put some lemon and chili on them, they're really good.
Ants, tacos, ant tacos.
Ant tacos.
Tacos.
Ant tacos.
Okay, I'm with.
And
All right.
not only that, an ant taco costs you 50 pesos.
I mean, I'm in. I'll try it.
And if you go downtown, if you go down to El Centro here, you can get grasshoppers in a little cup with chili and I know, Leah, that I had exactly the same reaction. See, it's a different thing here, see, right? In other words, the language is different here. In other words, if you went to the States and you said, oh, here, I'm offering you ant tacos, everybody would say, I don't care whose ant that is, but I don't want that taco. You take that back to the uncle, okay? I don't have nothing to do with that. But here, they're worth quite a bit because people here like them. So the agreement here is different than what it would be back home. See, so what I'm trying to get you to see here is that depending on where you live, then you adjust to what living there is about. You guys have trouble with that one because you say, "Oh, there's this stuff I'm not going to do." Well, if you don't do it, then you have to go home. There's been more than a few gringos that decided they didn't like Mexico because Mexican people said, if you're going to be that way, you go home. You have to behave different when you come here.
So what I'm just thinking, okay. I have a question here. It seems like if we change how we think about things, then the place we live would start to change too.
Let me see if I can explain it this way. What's the tool for harmony function, sweetie?
Moving your assemblage point.
Oh, see, I couldn't assemble the world of English and Spanish in LA that I had in LA when I came to Mexico. I had to assemble a world where I spoke Spanish. I can speak English. That's not going to go away, but I had to include Spanish as a language, not as something that I kind of play with. So my assemblage point had to be a little broader than what I thought it was, what I thought it should be originally.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because the assemblage point is actually not so much that you're like moving to like, it's actually to include and.
Well, you can move it as well, but to move it means that you have to include other things because you're not going to forget what you can, but the thing is that when you move your assemblage point, then you're absorbing an entirely different way of thinking about things, and you're just going to that place. It doesn't cost anything, you just go there.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if Bree, I'm sure you've had this experience about going to a new job and saying, well, I'm going to do what I want to. And the people at the job say, well, you can do that, but if you're going to do that, we don't need you here. So you move your assemblage point to where here is, and you
Right.
absorb that idea.
Yeah. No,
And
you
so
have
you
to.
don't do those. You do, because you can't be a rebellious little girl and get and work in an office. You just can't do that. There's no room for that.
Nope. Yep. I had that one. Yep. That one I have the yep. Definitely. The NA like it was the NEPA actually that had to be eliminated from that specific job. I had to be in the New York mindset, the New York assemblage point.
Yep. Yep.
I had like or it was back home.
Damn, huh?
Hey, I got fired from my first job for being a rebellious prick, so I get it. I had to learn.
Yeah. I mean I got lucky because I was in these classes, which
Oh
helped.
yeah, I was nowhere near these classes. I just
Yeah.
burned up.
Yep. No, someone sat my ass down. They were able to be empathetic and have an intuition and be like, "What the f are you doing? Do you want to be fired? Because if you don't, these are the things that need to get done." So I did those things.
Yep. See, in other words, you had to be in agreement, didn't you?
Yeah.
No matter what else was going on, you had to be in agreement. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So we kind of covered Jenny's first question. Can we go on to the second one now?
Yeah, her second one is you say agreement makes things real.
Yeah, it does. Look, using Bree's example, do you want to keep your job? You want to make that job real? Then you can't do those things that you were doing. You have to do something else. You have to agree with how we do things here to keep this job real. Because we have to do things that are real for our clients. They're not going to pay us.
Nope.
And you
So,
know, Bree, you want to keep that apartment,
that-
right? You better hold
Yep.
that agreement for the job.
You want to buy groceries this week? Oh, okay. Then you better
Oh.
shape up here or ship out. Go find you another job. It's okay. But I hear McDonald's is hiring. They're always hiring. See, that's a reality that you have to deal with no matter what. I mean, and everybody has that problem. I mean, everybody has to adjust that thing. They have to find that place where they're in harmony, so that they can be in agreement with it, with what's required. So you have to make that thing real. I don't care if you're in a relationship, and you know, you hear this thing. Well, I talked with him and he couldn't do it. He didn't want to. I'm sorry, Lenore. This one may land really close to home here.
Yeah.
Then what the fuck are you doing with this guy? What are you making real? What are you making real there?
But he can do whatever he
it's
wants.
okay with me. Well, so can you. But do you? I mean, for instance, directly for you here on this one.
Mm-hmm.
You complained about working over the sports bar, right? I don't blame you. That's absolutely got to be just a horrible job, especially during March Madness, because you don't give a damn about basketball. But you got to be nice, and you got to try to get your tips and all that kind of stuff. So you act like you're involved and like you're interested in all that other kind of good stuff, which is how you get your tips. Okay, that makes good sense to me. I'm with. However, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? No, you're trying to get a certification. You're not trying to get a job to work as an analyst. You're trying to get a certification. You could get both things. You could be doing both things at the same time. Do you? No, because you have no intention of working as an analyst. What your intention is to work at the sports bar and get as a waitress, because that's easy for you.
Okay, I'm with.
So why are you complaining about your significant other not wanting to do what you want him to do? It's easy for him not to do it. You can't say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't okay. You're not going to do that. You're going to argue with him. You're going to bitch and moan and say, please, dude, I want you to, but I yell and scream, jump up and down. But actually after the agreement, no, you're not going to do that. Now, I don't. Are you a bad girl because of that? No, you're not. No. I don't want you to be guilty here. I want you to be aware here. Just aware. If you're aware of what you're doing, you'll change it if it's necessary. If it's not necessary, then you won't change it. Both things are the same as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that one's gooder than the other or badder than the other. Any of those kinds of things. It's just that's the reality. How's a reality good or bad? It's not. It's a reality. It's real stuff. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, do you like that reality that you're in? Okay, cool. If you don't like that reality that you're in, then do something else. Oh, you can't? Well, then you like what you are. What do you mean you don't like it? Of course you do. You're there, aren't you? You're in that reality, right? Then you like it. Well, I don't really like it. I just then do something else. I can't. Then you like it. You're agreeing to it. How can you say that? Watch. You like it. That's what I'm saying. How could I say anything else? I'd be lying to me and you both. I can't. What for? You don't want me to agree to a lie.
Right.
Okay. What else we got there, Lisa?
Okay, the next question from Jenny is, what are contributing factors that lead to an agreement to be less than you'd like them to be?
Somebody who says something that they don't intend to say at all.
Wait. I like that. Something that they didn't intend to say at all.
Right. Like Dean, right? Dean's a good example of this one.
Okay, yeah.
Dean's a good kid. He really is. You gotta take your hat off to him. He's trying to do his best for his baby. Right?
100%.
He is. He's trying to do the best he can. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
You gotta give him credit for that.
I do.
But when you get down to it, you say, Dean, what are you going to do for the baby, really? Well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make sure, and I don't want her to have. Dean, that's good. Are you paying attention to what you're doing because she's learning from you?
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't say that. No, well, okay, you didn't say. So, which way is it, dude? Are you going to do this good stuff for your baby? Or are you going to because if you are, then you have to be the example because the baby's learning from you. She's not learning from going to school, she's learning from you. All the important things in her life is going to come from you and mom. Not from school. School's just going to refine what you and mom's talking about. That's it. But the basic set of beliefs, the basic things that baby's going to live from is coming from you and mom. So, what's the question again? How do you know?
Contributing factors that lead to an agreement to be less than you'd like it to be.
Yeah. So when Dean says that I really want to do that, but I don't want to do I don't want to deal with my programming. That's a limit, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's going to contribute to the agreement being less than what he wants it to be because he's not willing to go to all the places. He's limited. He's not general purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So not being general purpose, well, basically leads to this no matter what then. and to some certain degree.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
See,
I was like,
there's a reason why. There's a reason why Lily talks about being a general purpose biocomputer, right?
right.
Because you can move from one endeavor to another with not much programming time. You know, maybe some pissed off for a while, but other than that, it's you go move from one place to the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, because like I can think about like when I started this to where I am now. There's definitely less time between things, so it's like more or less.
Well, that's good.
Okay, interesting.
There for a while, I thought we were going to have to wait for another 1,000 years. Okay, so Lisa has a question here now.
Yeah, and I think this ties into what you were saying about the limits and being general purpose.
Okay.
Like you and I had talked about the idea of like what I allow in my thinking and limits that I've put on what I can do or accomplish or think about. You know, and it's like, so why is that important then to address when you're looking to make something real?
Why is what important? What
It's like
was it that-
addressing those limits
Oh,
that you have in your thinking.
oh. Well, because you're going to agree to them. You're going to make them real.
Right, and then that affects the agreement.
Doesn't affect it. It makes it. It's what you're going to make real.
Right, right.
The agreement's going to have
Yeah.
that very same limit.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. It's okay. So there are things I just don't allow myself to think about. As a for instance here, okay. Like let me give you a simple one. I don't allow myself to think about accidents. That doesn't mean I'll never have one, but it pretty much limits how many accidents I'm going to have.
When you say accidents, are you talking about like slips and falls?
I mean
car
driving.
accidents?
Okay, I don't. Yeah, car accident. I don't allow myself to think. Well, I could have an accident here. No. I don't allow myself to ever think that. I never let that in my mind.
Yep.
You know, if it comes by, I say, oh no, that's not going to happen. No, that I can't. That's not going to be there. The same kind of thing of somebody says, okay, I can do what I can do. You know, if you just simply weren't so damned intense, John, then I could get along with you. Well, I can't allow that in my mind.
Because that'll compromise what you need to do.
It'll prevent me absolutely from ever accomplishing it in any way, shape, or form. Actually.
Yeah.
So I can't allow that in my mind even. I can't allow somebody like that to influence me at all. I gotta say, no. Go away. You don't understand this. So
Okay.
that go ahead.
So I'm thinking about this and what you were saying about not allowing that the thought of an accident in your mind. And I'm thinking about, for instance, there was an accident in my hometown tonight, made it all over the news. And it was two cars. One of them ended up on the roof of a building somehow. I don't even understand how. But so all of those parties involved, the people in the building, the people in each car, they all would have had to have been in agreement for that event to happen. They all would have had to have. Okay.
No, No, no one. You're back to specifics one more time. No, they all live in that environment.
Right, remember?
It has to be true for them.
Yes, they live in that environment. They allow themselves to live in that environment. It's like the woman with the black eye. She lives in an environment she allows that environment to exist around her. She doesn't correct it. She doesn't move out of it. She stays right there. So every 3 or 4 weeks, she ends up with a black eye. And every 3 or 4 weeks, they kiss and make up, and everything's better, and it's never going to happen again. I promise, babes.
Right.
Okay.
But she
So those-
allows herself to live in that environment.
Yeah.
If it happens one time, okay, yeah, I can understand staying in the environment. Happens 2 times, nope, you're a damn fool. So get the fuck out of there. Oh, I can't. Well, then don't get out of there. Then you're going to get a black eye again. No, I won't. Quack. I have a black eye, the bastard.
Okay. All right.
Lenore, what do you think all those folks agreed to that got in that accident, right? All the things that they agreed to about how somebody drives, when they're safe, whether they're drinking or not, or smoking, or paying attention, or going fast, or going slow, or how well they maintain their car. Go through the whole list of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't agree to have an accident, but what they agreed to, the world and reality that they live in, resulted in that accident. Just like that woman resulted in a black eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the same thing.
Right. Because, like, I was kind of had a light bulb go off. When I was a kid, we lived in a house, and the house got, for whatever reason, cars just kept driving into the house. It happened like 4 times. And we continued to live there. And that's the thing that just like popped into my head. Like, we continued to live there, and it continued to happen. That makes sense. Okay.
I have a nephew that just cannot help but have accidents. He drinks way too much. He's a pig in every way that you can think of, and so forth. I mean, there's just lots of things that the kid does, and it's like he's a nice, he's not a nice guy. He's an honest guy, right? He works hard, but his lifestyle insists on doing stupid things because he's always got to show off when he's driving, and he drives too fast, and so he wraps cars around trees and all kinds of stuff because he's a big mouth that tries to be something that he's not. He doesn't want to do the work to actually be something. He wants everybody to just acknowledge that he's something because he is something because he's alive. And so he does a bunch of stupid things. And the lifestyle ends up costing him accidents and all kinds of stupid ideas. Not just the accidents. The accidents are the most spectacular, dramatic parts of the stupidity. But the stupidity runs really deep. It's not just a thing. An agreement's a holistic idea. It's not something. It's an expression of the spirit. It's not something that I do consciously. You see, all of these things can be overcome, but they can't be overcome unless you make changes. You have to do things differently. You have to move your assemblage point. You have to see differences. You have to do things differently. Remember that the difference is what's left after you subtract something else.
Well, Lisa, I think you were talking about the whole not doing thing was a big trip up for you for a while.
Oh,
Yes, it was.
Maybe you could say more about that, because that's the subtractive part that John's talking about.
Right, because like the not doing part is like, okay, you first have to just like, okay, be able to see what it is you are doing
Right. Brutal honesty.
first. You know. But well, I think too that has to do with seeing the differences, so that you can actually see what it is that you're doing that's getting in the way of that expression of spirit, you know, so the natural mind can function, right? And then it's like, okay, what is the not doing? You know, so that was the place of like, okay, I have to not do this particular thing. You know, whether just say it's to feel sorry for, okay? And yeah, get me every time. It's like, son of a bitch. And then you go back at it. It's like, no, I gotta not do this thing because it's getting in the way. Um, but yeah, that was, and well, even, you know, still at times. Because it's like you find something else. But that's the thing, though. It's like, I think, Paul, you had said that on the email thread. It's like you keep going.
Right.
And it's like you take one thing and you address it. You know, when it comes up again, like we've talked about it, it's like that Medusa, you know, Medusa's head. You know, it's like another one comes up and you chop that off.
The Hydra, but yes.
Yes, yeah, that thing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, Lily talks about it as half-lives. You know, and you just you keep going, and I think that's the again, like thinking about it differently here is like, oh, you know what? Okay, yep, I'm doing this thing, and instead of beating yourself up or like I've done, it's like feel sorry for myself. It's like, okay, well, address it and keep going. So
That's the nature of an agreement, isn't it?
To keep moving forward and
Okay,
keep addressing
anybody?
things.
Yes. Here's the thing. No, I don't think anybody's omniscient. I don't think everybody knows everything is everywhere and all, or any of that kind of omnipotent and those kinds of things. Those are things reserved for gods and people in Ivy League schools.
this is good.
But for us common folks, omniscience and omnipotence it just doesn't make any sense. And so, for me personally, I just as soon deal with that. I have decided limits on my mental abilities. Now they're not the same as what they used to be because I'm older than I used to be. So I've learned a few things over the course of time, and so I don't make the same mistakes the same way I used to. I make different mistakes now. But when I recognize them, I can see them, I can change them and fix them lots quicker than what I used to too. But the thing is that you got to keep putting that one foot in front of the other and saying, okay, well, I made a mistake, and if I'd known better, I'd have done different. But I didn't know no damn different, so I made the mistake. I didn't know it was a mistake at the time I was doing it, but now I can see that it was, and so I can do something different next time through. Because it's going to come around again. I can adjust the program. and so that I don't beat myself up. And say, oh, I'm just such a fuck up. What a crock of shit. You poor thing, John. You're just a fuck up. No. I look. I fucked up, but that doesn't mean I that's what I am. That means that that doesn't define me. That just means I learned something from fucking it up. That's all. Hopefully, I learned something, that is. Did I learn all of it? Probably not. I usually have to fuck it up 2 or 3 times before I get enough of it to be able to not fuck it up at all. But that's the nature of an agreement, right? And so you see somebody that's struggling with something, you don't beat them up about it. You don't say, "Ha! You're not in agreement, you bastard." You're not going to accomplish anything with that. You say, "Okay, did you see what you did wrong there? Did you see?
Right.
Did you actually see that? Okay, can you do it differently, or did you not see enough of it to be able to do it differently? Well, then you're going to do it again. I am not going to do it again. Well, okay, then show me that you're not going to do it again. It sounds like you're doing it again right now, but okay, whatever you say.
Well, that's why we look for movement away and movement towards, right? Because this is where
That's
you
right.
see that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So anybody got questions still now tonight? Or do we need to do a second session here to hammer this home? or is this
that
quite
remains to
enough?
be
Thank
seen.
you.
That remains to be seen if we need a second session. But I don't think anyone's got any other questions tonight.
Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, I guess there's no more questions. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on and talking. And if there are more questions, then write them out, and we'll do an addendum to this. But we'll let people know that we're gonna do one. If you see another one come up on this, that's what it'll be. Okay, guys. All of you people who are listening in here, if you see that there's a second agreement session, well, you'll know what that's about now. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay, guys. Well, then I guess with that, we're going to bid you upon to do.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
Outro.
We got to do our outro, John.
Outro.
Okay. Well, then get a move on here.
All right, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. And remember, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Check us out on social media. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and John is doing blogs on medium.com. And if there's a next time, we'll see you then.
Fun time, folks. Thanks.
Good night, everybody.